there, I'm Stephen Leptak, Executive Editor of The Drum, and this is the latest in an interview series talking to the chairs of our awards being announced over the coming weeks about why they chose to give their own personal prize to some of the nominees from this year. And I am delighted to be joined by the Drum Marketing Awards Chair for this year, Jill Duggan from British Gas. Hi Jill, how are you?
Hi Stephen, really well thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Can I ask you to reveal what campaign you gave your own prize to this year?
Well, I was absolutely delighted to give my award to the Tenor Zenith campaign. Absolutely loved it and definitely stood out.
What about it? What about it caught your eye then? Why does it deserve this recognition?
I think when I was coming into the judging, I think for me it was about really spotting something that had brilliant creativity, but also that was grounded in real insight and a real customer need. And I think the reason I loved the Tenor one is I just thought it was really brave. I thought it picked a subject that frankly doesn't get talked about very often, but actually is really, really important. And I loved the fact that it was driving a conversation to a really important audience, actually, and one that often gets overlooked. And then actually it took sort of a typical sort of fashion and how we think about fashion and really turned that on its head. So I love the integrated media plan where they went out and did big billboards and, in really quite, high footfall areas. And just thought about doing it differently and actually caused us really, and particularly me, to really just stop and think. And it just stood out. It was just a really different approach to something. So I thought it was brave, it was challenging, and it was a great mix of creativity and insight, frankly.
I'm curious, you call it brave. Why do you think it was why describe it as that?
I think it was brave because I think, tenor, as I said, it's not a subject that gets talked about very often. And I think traditionally it's been sort of, it goes into channels that are very sort of targeted at the sort of the audience. It hasn't gone out there and, chosen, real women in real scenarios where you'd expect to see that type of advertising actually. So I think it was turning that on its head. And as I said, bravely tackling an issue that, frankly, people find embarrassing or don't want to highlight. So I think that was the bravery piece for me, actually.
And from looking at the other work that you're judging this year, did you spot any trends or anything that made you think, oh wow, that's happening in marketing right now?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think there was a couple of things that came through to me. I think that a number of brands are starting to look more from the sort of the consumer perspective and really thinking about that purpose. So there are a couple of examples where brands are tapping into issues like the environment or sustainability and actually talking about issues that are important. And it's not just about pushing their product, but actually talking about their products in ways that are actually relevant to the wider environment. And that's sort of, I guess, consumer thinking. So I think it's less about talking about products and services, more about actually finding solutions to real problems. And I think those are the ones that really stood out. And then I think the other ones that came out as we were judging some of the winners was who is taking that very sort of integrated approach. So I think there are examples of campaigns out there that do brilliantly in one channel, but they're sort of siloed by channel. So again, the ones that stood out was around, taking that great idea, that great creativity, and then playing that throughout all channels, whether it's digital, above the line, out-of-home, etc.
And finally, can I ask your viewpoint, as we're all trying to work through the biggest societal issue we'll probably ever face in our lives, do you have any advice for marketers in terms of how they carry on being effective for their companies and just try to muddle through in some way?
Yes, I mean, I suppose from my perspective, marketing is ever more important as a function, and I think the really exciting thing about not exciting is the wrong word, but one of the things that's come through to me is that marketing and the consumer is absolutely at the heart of everything that companies are doing at the moment. So I would say that you know, in trying to get through, you know, the next few weeks or months, it's even more than ever, live each day as it comes. You know, I think as marketers, we generally do that sort of anyway. But I think maintaining and keeping the customer at the heart, and thinking about, again, you know, back to what I was saying, you know, is this about you as a company, or is this actually about solving real customer needs? And making sure we maintain that around, you know, what are the problems that our customers are going to be facing, and how can our brands do that in a way that is actually authentic and genuine. This is not a time for quick gimmicks and quick offers. This is actually about being there, and having a voice, and speaking to our customers about real issues that are going to be impacting them.
Yeah, I guess we've been talking about brand purpose for a while now, but right now, anyone advertising needs to be relevant, I guess, but also useful too.
I think it's relevant and useful, and frankly, trying to do that in a way when, you know, a number of us are probably having really tough conversations about budgets, actually. So I think as marketers, you know, we are having to rethink about how we get out there and the channels that we're going to be using. And actually, again, back to some of the sort of, I guess, the more digital channels that allow us to be more flexible, more nimble, and just doing things differently. I don't think we've got the luxury of having massive budgets with massive planning cycles and all of that kind of stuff. This is very much on the ground, day to day. How are we getting out there, and how are we communicating, not just to our customers, but to our people? And I think, you know, we've definitely been having discussions again, is how do we bring our own people into some of those conversations, and actually look after them as they're working from home. They're feeling, you know, they're going through hardship, and they're feeling, you know, I guess a little bit further away from our brands as well. So how do we continue to look after our own people and bring them into that communication?
Well, Jill, thank you again for being the chair of the Drum Marketing Awards this year, and good luck to yourself in terms of all that you're working on there, and I hope you stay safe and well.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen.
And thank you to you, the viewer, for joining us. You can find out more about the awards on the Drum website, and you can hear more from our other chairs on the site as well. Take care.